Definitely didn't set a reminder.
Yeah, it's counting down 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay, now it is.
All right, so we are live. Okay, so I don't know what that was about. Had a little hiccup. Yep, got a little hiccup. Okay, so ETM Hotep, welcome in peace. Welcome to the Sesh Medew Netcher YouTube channel. Rini Wujao, my name is Wujao, and I have been blessed with the presence of two others on the panel. And I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, and we're going to dive straight in for tonight.
Hotep, my name is Tamika. Like, share the show.
Hotep, this is him again.
Okay, that was real quick and very fluffy and inviting and soulful. Not y'all are crazy. Okay, all right. So man, that seemed like a little Catholic, like very hi, my name is Mika. Thank you. Goodbye. Hi, my name is Imiket. All right, yes. Then I said, what's going on? What's I mean, y'all you are happy that it's Friday or not? Or like what? What's going on? Don't know. All right.
Well,
So what are you about to say?
I said one day I'm gonna get fancy and I'm gonna talk Hotep, blah blah blah, like how Emmy kept me doing. One day.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I gotta be the life of the party. Um, all right. So again, ETM Hotep, welcome to Freestyle Friday. It's your brother Wujao, and you're listening to and tuned into and watching the Seshu Madi Netcher YouTube channel. Now I know Friday, back in the day when we first started this Freestyle Friday, we were well, put it this way, it wasn't that many people that were going live at this time on Friday, which is why we chose Friday night evenings in the first place. But times have changed, and it seems like everyone overlaps on the time slots and the days now. So as we go live right now, I know there's a few others that are live and have some interesting conversations, and we get to miss out on those conversations. They miss out on our conversations and vice versa. And then people who are listening, they got to open up two browsers or two different devices and try to listen to both. They got headphones, one playing in one ear, the other one playing in the other ear, or bouncing from one chat to the next chat and everything. Listen, I've seen it. I've seen people do it. So I don't know. We're just gonna do our thing, and we want to keep it consistent. And plus, all of our videos are archived, so people can always come back to them, and the same for others. So that's a good thing. But anyway, so but do any of y'all have anything to open up with? Anything that you saw the past week, um, as it relates at least remotely to ancient Egypt, the language, culture, or what have you? Anything?
Not me personally, but yeah, I haven't actually been online that much this week, so kind of got shielded away from and some of the bad stuff, but also got shielded from some of the good stuff that I need to be uh you know updating myself with. So, but I don't know about you, Mika.
Nope, I haven't heard anything. How about you, Zane?
Yeah, Zane, I hope you coming in. So first of all, ATM Hotep, Zane, but I hope you coming in with some energy. So the brothers, we're gonna have to hold it down tonight because the sisters are definitely being very, very Catholic tonight. I don't know what was happened, but it's very, very short, cold, and dry tonight. So Zane, let us have it. What's been going on? What have you seen? Anything you got to share? Remotely related to Egypt or anything? What's the latest? And watch Zane be at third shift at work or something about to start shift. He can't speak.
No, I'm here. I'm here at home. Just that I've been busy trying to, look for some jobs and stuff. But no, I haven't really been seeing anything. Kemet, babe. I mean, based on Kemet. But I mean, I'm here. I'm. I mean, I'll whatever y'all talking about, I know I can add something to it.
All right, all right. See, I see we have brother Chris rolled up, pulled up, and rolled
ETM
in.
Hotel, by the way.
ATM on
What's
tap.
up?
All right. I don't know if Chris switched from Cricket Wireless yet, but
Yep, I got rid of it.
okay. All right. So Chris, as I was saying, the brothers, we're gonna have to hold it down tonight because I don't know, it's a brothers versus sisters thing because the sisters are really, really short, cold, and dry with their responses and everything. You should have heard the introduction. It was like, hey, this is Mika. Peace. Hey, this is Emicat. Hotep. And that was it.
Wow.
It wasn't the usual Rennie Emicat. Hope you have enjoy the show and blah blah blah. And Mika wasn't like, hey, this is Mika. I'm known as Tamika, I'm known as Mika. And none of that. None of that was going on. So I don't know what it is. We're gonna have to hold it down. I want to give a shout out to the chat, everyone in the chat. I see Sister Anusha, Hotep, Sister Safa. Oh, let me post the link. So listen, if you don't know by now, and shame on it if you don't know, because you should, but we encourage participation, engagement, and everything. This is a safe zone. We keep it professional and mature. We like to have fun, so we're not stiff and cold and short. Like, I don't know, not gonna point any elbows at Mika or Emicat tonight. But but no, we like to have fun, but we like to engage. So I put the link in the chat early on. So I'm about to do that right now. And I encourage people to join the panel. We can get up to 100 people on the panel. And I know we know how to act. We are disciplined and all of the above. So I never mind, putting a link and having engagement, so, and I will try my best to watch the chat as well. But let me get the link to you all and put it right here in the chat. And it's going to be pinned actually as soon as it will allow me to. New pin chat. Okay, here we go. All right, there's a link. So if you would like to join the panel, you are definitely invited. We'll be more than happy to have you on the panel. All right. So with all of that good stuff out the way, actually, let's go back to an old Seshu tradition that we used to do, and we actually picked up from Dr. Riketti Amin, actually. Shout out to Dr. Riketti Amin. And let's recite the offering formula. I think that's a good thing to do and a good way to kind of pay back Mika and Emicat for being so cold and stiff tonight. Maybe that'll loosen them up. So Mika or Emicat, would you like to do the honors and recite the offering formula? I'm not even going to pull it up on the screen. So let's see what you got. So the mic is yours. I'm about to mute myself and let's see it happen. There it is.
So I think they kind of turned the whole Freestyle Friday into the Sabai Dome, and we are getting this Sabai Eat, you and I, Mika. So I'll go ahead and recite of the dome. So Hotep Dinasu, Wasir, Nebjadu, Netcher Neb Abju, DF Beret Kiru, T Henket, Ka Apet, Shes Menket, Ket Nebet, Neferet, Wabet, Anket, Netcher Im, In Kani, Imaku, Aku, Mahiru.
See, easy peasy. Told you. See that? That's how you do it. That was good. Excellent. Ikea. And I know Mika. All of a sudden, Mika's mic just fell in the toilet, fell down the sink. Sure, I have any mic anymore. All right. So, okay. Anyway, so let's just jump into it because, like I said, Fridays we're basically kind of overlapping. Other people go live as well on Fridays, and as I said, when we first started Freestyle Fridays, we chose Friday because it was empty. Everybody was not really home like that, and or definitely not live, and so we chose Friday evenings because nobody was going live on Fridays. But now everybody and their mother and father are live on Fridays, pretty much live all around. And I guess the pandemic has a lot to do with that because a lot of people have changed their patterns and what they do. Us being locked down last year at some points kind of changed all of that stuff up. So anyway, all right. So we're going to get into freestyle, but let me just do a go around the table. So Chris, do you have anything that's new in the news related to Kemet, remotely related to Kemet in any way, or whatever you want to share?
To you. But the past 2 days, I kind of lightly got involved with a discussion about kimware.
Okay.
And I mean, it didn't get
you in that black conversation, boy. I tell you.
I know, right? I mean, it didn't get out of hand because there were some people there who kind of kept it grounded and tried to keep away all the the pseudoisms, and we kind of basically talked about how it pertained to Osiris being it was the kimware, and then they had a picture of Osiris, and we kind of talked about him being an agricultural god and the soil, the earth, and it's not nothing spooky and way out, and then but of course you have people who still want to go there, yeah. So
okay.
Once it started going there, I kind of just slipped out the conversation and kind of let the pseudos go at it. I just kind of bowed out. I was like, I'm not about to go there.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. All right. Kimware, that conversation is still live and kicking. It's almost like a virus that we don't have that herd immunity for it yet. It just lingers, pops up. People are arguing over it after 50 years have gone by. Whether Egyptians are black. I mean, it's a couple of sub arguments within those arguments that really I feel, and people can feel differently, but just on my observation and my experience, it is absolutely a waste of time at this point. Because it's not something that is argued except for by people who don't know or don't have the tenure in this kind of study, because Egypt is still, it was, is, and will be on the continent of Africa. So Egypt, whether it's ancient or modern, is African. I mean, the geography alone will just tell you that. You don't have to know anything at all about Egypt. Just look at a map, and it is on the continent that we have called Africa. So Egypt is an African country. But that's not enough for people. They want to fast forward Egypt into our newly modern social construct of race, which has absolutely nothing to do with ancient population groups. It there's no overlap. There was no consciousness in the minds of people around the world when it comes to our modern racial classification system. which is a social construct. It's a social hierarchical system that we deal with today, and it's very real for us today, but it did not exist in ancient times. There was no consciousness of that. So I find it very wasteful for people to pretend that it was, and then want to formulate arguments about that. You know, so that's where I'm at with that, and that's where it's wasteful. Now, where it's helpful, actually, that argument is not helpful at all. But what should be focused on is the genius of the people of ancient Egypt, because that's where the wisdom, the information, the data and everything, the genius of the people of the civilization, the people that created, maintain that civilization. We should be tapping into that genius and find out what can be used today to solve any modern problems, whether it's psychological, whether it's physiological, in other areas of life. That's it. That's one of the benefits of even doing historical studies, studying history. What's the saying? History is bound to repeat itself, and it's crazy that Siri, I said history, and Siri is asking me, what can I do for you? This is crazy. 1 second. No, seriously, Siri, on my computer, I said history, and Siri popped up. Wow. Okay. So anyway, yeah. I just want everyone to kind of understand, and I understand people are going to have that conversation. It means a lot to people whether the Egyptians would fit in our modern social constructs today. I just don't think it's worth 50 years of arguing over it, and with an absence of discussions about the genius of the people. It's like so much focus is focused on whether they're black or whether they call themselves black and stuff, which we dealt with. All right. So outside of that, okay, so let's dive in. So we're gonna do freestyle Friday the way we do, and let me just share my screen. Up here. So we're going to try to go through this and be, pretty brief tonight. Give everyone a chance to surf the YouTube streets. All right, so I'm going to lock this on my screen, and this is going to be the artifact that we're dealing with. Let's see, we're going to spotlight this. All right, here we go. So hopefully everyone can see that. Let me just check to see if it's clear on YouTube. So, all right, remember the link is pinned in the chat. All right, so because I'm just now looking at the chat, I see we have Desharab, Sahotep, Osiris. Understanding is of the Kemet 1%ers. I'm in that 1%. All right, I disagree. Cracking the language is relevant. Yeah, Desharab, if you can clarify that while we go into this image. Because cracking the language, I mean, that's why we're here. So I'm just trying to see what you mean by that. All right. So we're going to dive into it. So this is an artifact, and this is what is this object? What is this? What is this called? Anybody know? What is it? I mean, is it a toothbrush? Is it
You mean in Sesh and Ronnie Kimmett, or you mean in English?
Oh, well, either one. I mean, Sesh is definitely the bonus. Ronnie Kimmett is the bonus.
So the one at the top of the screen, that's a Sahu. No. What's the per unk? No. Yeah. The one up above the box.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the per unk, right?
Okay.
Wait, I get them mixed up. Yeah,
It's not.
per
You close. You close. You real close. You real hot. You real very very hot. You almost burning yourself. It's not per unk. It's the neb unk.
Oh, where did I get per unk from? I guess I made that up. Yeah, okay, neb unk.
No. Per unk is the house of life. There's that's a validity to that. It's the house of life, but that's not it. That's actually a university or like the biggest structure, like the larger hierarchical structure of Kemet's townships and things,
Dude.
pyramid complex and things, temple complex. The per unk, but this is a neb unk.
Neb unk, right? And the mummy is it's called is a sahu.
Okay, or we is the mummy, but that's not at the actual mummy though.
Wait, that's
We're not looking at the mummy.
Oh yeah. That's what's around.
Yeah,
the mummy.
That's you take the lid off. The mummy is probably the next thing you're gonna see.
Ew.
Yeah, right. Tutankhamun, because his tomb was pretty much untouched for all of that time. That his tomb and Tutankhamun became very very famous because of it. But when you look at his coffins, he had several coffins, the inner, outer, with the mask and the whole thing, you know. All right, so yeah, all right, so we noticed a coffin, and it looks like a female, and so, but that's not always true though. So it, at first glance, we may think that it's maybe a female, but with the hair extended this way, but you'd be surprised. Made a few mistakes, making that assumption sometimes. But all right, so we're gonna freestyle on the text, on the inscription around it. So we could start from I guess, let me see, where's my mouse, my cursor here. We could start on this portion here and these columns, or on the top, the very, very top. So somebody make a choice.
You don't have a frontal view?
A front view? Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me see if I have a front view. I should.
I mean, I can see some of it, but on the left side, there's some glare on it. I guess some light shining down on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see where we at here. You talking about that view here?
Oh wow, yeah, okay. I see why you had it like that.
That's cool.
Can't see the columns.
We can't see the columns, but we can see the
we can
top
see the
part.
columns.
We can knock the top part portion out.
Yeah, we can knock out the top here.
First, but I'm gonna have to blow it up. So I just want everyone to see the full, at least the photograph, so we can see the mummy is wrapped. And then the coffin, and then the outer coffin in the back. So we're gonna deal with this line right here. So I'm gonna blow it up, but that's how it looks, more full picture. So let me see if I can increase this, how big. So we're gonna have to slide this back and forth just so everyone can see the image clear. All right, so you should be able to see it better. Can you see it?
This is really, really clear. Yeah. This is really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Really nice.
Oh, Mika, your mic is working again. Oh, okay. Nice.
Yep.
So she fixed her mic. Right. Yeah. She's like, yep, as long as you don't call on me to recite.
Well, this one looked kind of familiar, so
all right. Okay, so let's start. All right, so let's quickly, now we're gonna fly through this. All right, so we're gonna fly through this, And so I'm just going to remind everyone of the 4 steps to the transliteration process. There's 4 steps. Step 1 is you determine the direction in which to read the inscription that you are looking at, examining, or attempting to translate. So you have to, all right. That's different than determining the direction that the glyphs are in themselves. And some people will confuse that when I ask that question. But step 1 is to determine the direction in which the glyphs are to be read. All right. Step 2 is an investigation step. Or identification step. You're going to identify every single glyph that is in the inscription that you are dealing with. Now that sounds like a big task, but believe it or not, it's not. Once you start to do this kind of stuff and put it into practice, you're going to get a lot faster and proficient at that. You're only going to have to look up glyphs that you don't know. And so over time, you're going to know more and more and more glyphs. But on the onset, you should already have all of the monoliterals memorized. Uniliterals or monoliterals. Those are glyphs that represent a single consonant. All right. That's step 2. Step 3 is to identify patterns. So step 3 is a pattern recognition step. Because the glyphs are not, there's no punctuation in the writing system, no commas, no spaces, no periods, and things like that. All of the glyphs are strung one after each other, some stacked on top and things like that. So you have to parse the glyphs into the words that they make up. And so there's patterns. And the biggest aid to that pattern is what is a glyph that we call determinatives. That's it. Now, that's not a for sure thing, but that's a very, very helpful tool to recognize patterns or recognize words. So that's step 3. You have to actually recognize the glyphs into words. You have to group them. Step 4 is a semantic endeavor, or the actual application of grammar to come away with a sensible translation. Step 4 is probably the most challenging for beginners, because at a beginner's level, you're not going to have an in-depth knowledge of the grammar to be able to get all of the nuances in there and things like that. And this is why, for that reason, this is why I always encourage, I tell people that at the completion of a beginner's level class, you should be able to transliterate and translate simple inscriptions, especially those that are in museums, such as this piece here. And if you go on museum tours or whatnot, or find pictures from museums, those pieces in the museums, they usually have, very short, brief inscriptions that are limited in the type of inscription that it is. All right. And I'm not talking about, you go to the British Museum and seeing the whole Book of the Dead and all that good stuff. But these types here. So those are the 4 steps. All right. So we're going to fly through these 4 steps. So step number 1, we're taking this image here that I have on the screen, and we're going to deal with this top portion. Let me get my trusty arrow here. So I change the color. All right. So we're going to deal with this here. So what is the answer to step 1? What direction should these glyphs be read?
Right to left.
Okay, right to left.
Both.
Yep. All right, good. So you gave the direction and orientation, and that's what I'm looking for. So this is in a row, and it's read from right to left. Okay, so that's it. That's step 1, done. Step 2, identify the glyphs. So for the sake of speed, and this is what you're going to do naturally anyway, at this point, you're going to be able to skip the monoliterals, such as the bread loaf, such as the hand, such as the foot. These are monoliterals that you would already have memorized, and you don't have to look them up. Now, by the way, on Freestyle Friday, we don't look anything up. We don't have any books or properly examine anything. So this is an exercise that we started 2 years ago and have fun with. But normally, any glyphs that you are not familiar with, you would have to look them up. But on this freestyle, let's try to identify some of these glyphs outside of the monoliterals. So anyone who's on the panel, and I can't see the panel right now, but if you don't mind, I'll point the arrow. You point out any glyph that's not a monoliteral, and then I'll find it with the arrow, and then you tell us how would you transliterate it. All right, so so there it is. So anybody can kick that off.
I guess the first glyph would be Su.
Let me point it in the right direction here. Okay. All right, how would you transliterate it?
Su, that would be SW.
Okay, nice. All right, Sue. Very well, very good. Okay, anybody else?
Ab.
Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about this here. So how would you transliterate that?
Capital AB.
All right, excellent.
Ab.
Where should I?
Okay.
Yeah, to send Chris. So how do you know it's up and not mer?
Oh yeah. Because it has the phonetic complement next to it. The leg, B.
Okay, dua. And what do you mean by phonetic complement?
It's the consonant, I guess, attached to the glyph. I don't want to say being repetitive, but it's wow. I guess, yeah. How would you define phonetic complement? Because I don't want to say extra, because it's not that it's extra.
Yeah.
So
we had to bring you through that because you know, me and Mika kind of gotta keep we're being Catholics. I'm trying to keep the conversation going.
I mean, I guess
you had to be on the end of my say,
I guess for aesthetic reasons, and of course, which y'all can correct me on it, but I guess if the phonetic complement wasn't there, I guess having the chisel and the Jew mountain would look well.
I know, just so that I'm clear. I was like, so what are phonetic complements? What do they do?
Can I help you out a little bit?
To you.
So although the biliterals were used by themselves to write two consonant words or two consonants of large words, we find very often the scribes wrote them together with monoliteral signs that spell out the biliterals. When using this way, the monoliteral signs are called phonetic complements.
Okay.
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 All right. So what's a consonant? Now let me stop. I'm just messing. Yeah, y'all are drilling down. So yeah, now that's good. Phonetic complements. But you know, another way of looking at phonetic complements is this. A determinative is a glyph that is so named because it helps determine the meaning of the word that it is part of. So we refer to those glyphs as determinatives, and they come at the end of words, right? 99% of the words that they that have them. But now think about this: determinatives are not pronounced and they're not transliterated. So they are a function of the writing system. Now, phonetic complements, in a similar way, they're like the determinative of multiliterals because it helps determine which multiliteral it is. No monoliteral will have a phonetic complement. Phonetic complements only exist for multiliteral glyphs, meaning two or more. They represent two or more consonants. And so the phonetic complement, it complements that multiliteral glyph by clarifying which one it is. And so in a sense, it is a determinative of multiliteral glyphs.
That is interesting. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we have two levels of determinatives. It's just that we don't call them determinatives because Egyptologists didn't do it. But, we could be creative. But no, phonetic complement is fine because, which is kind of weird because they don't have a sound. And so when we say phonetic complement, phone is sound and they don't make a sound. So it's kind of a misnomer. And you all know me, I don't do well with misnomers. So I just find that interesting. But all right. So let's identify a couple more. So anybody else have any glyphs they want to identify?
We have Mayor at the far end over there, at the far left.
Okay, at the far left. All right. All right. All right. What about this glyph right here? I'm gonna start pointing them out.
Sen. SN.
Okay, excellent. All right. This one here.
That's the word Allah. Alif, lam, lam, ha.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh man.
I knew it. Allah Ta'ala. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, that's the whole tasmiyah right there, boy. Bismi. You got to skip to here. Allah, El Rahman. Let me stop before somebody accuse me of being mean or making fun of their tradition. So no. But yeah, that you know what? I know why you said that because there's a video that went viral a while back. I remember when I first time I saw it, this is maybe 3-4 years ago. A video went viral where a tour guide is in Egypt and it's a column and he's pointing out the column and he's saying that this is the name of God, Allah. And he's pointing to this glyph right here, but on the column. At least that was my first time seeing that.
Teal.
And
That's why I saw that.
Right.
And he made it sound really good.
Yeah, and the thing about it is everybody that he was talking to believed him. I mean, or at least they didn't say anything. They were like, oh, wow. So yeah, gotta be careful about that. Yeah. See, I don't want to get into a whole conversation. All right, so we
So what is
identified
it
that
really?
one. What is it? Oh, it's oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say D.
All right, how would you transliterate it?
D-I or D-Y.
Okay.
D-I.
All right. I didn't want anybody to think that was D, the letter D by itself. Because the letter D, we pronounce letter D and the word D the same.
Okay, right. I saw another one that kind of looked similar, and I thought it was Ka.
Oh, okay.
Kawi.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. All right. So, all right, that's just an example of step 2, identifying glyphs. And obviously you have to identify every glyph. And we skip. Well, what's this one? Everyone should get this one. Let's see. Anybody in chat? Like I said, I can't really see the chat, monitor the chat. Okay, I see someone said Jed. Desharab said Jed, and that would be right here. So that is correct. Let's see. Anybody else say anything? No. All right. All right. I'm gonna get back to Desharab's comment. He said we must know what Kemet meant or what Kemet is. Yes, that's absolutely true. We should know, and we do know. That's the whole interesting part. We do know what it means. All right, so let's get back to my cursor. All right, so we identified a few of them. And what's this glyph here? This is the last one. What's this one?
So that's the 049 glyph. It's a determinative for community, city, place, you know.
Okay. All right. Is it always a determinative?
Yes, I've seen it. I mean, I should say yes, but on occasions I've seen as well. Mute. So
Okay.
no, so it's not always a determinative.
Okay. And that was excellent right there. What we just witnessed was a statement. A statement was made. The same person who made the statement realized that they were about to tell a lie. They corrected themselves and then gave the correct information all in one. Did y'all hear that? That's amazing. We didn't have to say anything. We witnessed the whole scientific process right there in a matter of 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
I got too many bites for today, so I've had enough. So I gotta come correct. Nah, but you gotta correct yourself. Yeah. So no. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm poking fun, but those are excellent characteristics to have though. Is the ability to be open enough and honest enough to where even like shortly right after that you realize you said something, like, wait a minute, no, let me correct myself, things like that, or even way after the fact. Having that flexibility goes a long way. All right, so let's move on. So that's step 2. Step 3, identifying patterns, but we're going to identify words because the glyphs form are grouped together to form words. So I'm going to move the arrow, and then I guess anyone on the panel. And by the way, if you're in the chat, the panel link is pinned to the top. So, if you want to be a part of this discussion, click the link. So let's identify some words. And this, I'm sure that a lot of people, even who watch the channel, should be able to recognize some of these words because these are words that we come across all the time, especially the ones we do on the channel. So let's have at it. So just point out some words. Let me see who's on the panel.
You got the word Netcher.
Okay. Okay, so Netcher, and I'm going to find it for everyone, and we have it right here. But Chris, you're gonna have to explain this one though. So
Okay.
you chose it, so now you gotta explain it. Why is that Netcher? I mean, what's interesting? What can you tell us about that word?
Well, you have some honorific transposition going on there.
Actually, let me you keep on talking. I'm just gonna
Right. You have some honorific transposition going on. You also have some phonetic complements there for sin. You have the Sinetcher.
Okay. Honorific transposition though, what's that?
Well, you have the glyph for the Netcher that's before the Sinetcher. Right? Because you have sin, and you have Netcher, and then you have the Netcher in front. The Netcher glyph in front of Sinetcher.
Okay, what's all this honor stuff though? What's that? What's the honor? Where you get honor from?
Yeah, because the way I said it, because right now if you read it literally, it'll be Netcher. Well, I guess wow, right. If you read it literally, it would be Netcher, Sin Netcher.
Mm-hmm.
If you read it as is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So you put the name of the deity, not the name, but you put the glyph of the deity first, and out of respect.
Okay.
Transporting the Netcher.
Say it again. Sis.
And saying you transported the Netcher to the front.
Deal.
Okay. All right. All right. Yes. So here's a basic understanding of honorific transposition. First of all, you should hear the word trans, which means to move, and it's a graphic phenomenon, not in the spoken language, not in Ronnie Kemet. This is a Sesh Medew Netcher issue, and the general understanding that people should have is that the word for king and the word for deity or God, or the gods themselves or the deities themselves, these words are transposed or moved to the front of the phrase or the construction out of honor. Okay, and so the very word that everybody says, Medew Netcher, is an example of honorific transposition, because when you see it and you read it literally, what you're seeing is Medew Netcher, excuse me, Netcher Medew, but we all say Medew Netcher, and it's interesting because I even got into a very very brief back and forth with someone who does not believe in honorific transposition, but they kept saying Medew Netcher. and and it wasn't until I pointed that out to them that they had to just kind of slowly, save face, because you can't say Medew Netcher and then not believe in honorific transposition. And the brother didn't even realize that all this time he was saying something that is an example of how about this phrase right here, Mika, where I have the box.
Yeah, Hotep in a suit.
Yes, excellent. That is correct. All right. So any other words? Anybody?
I will take Mika's other word, which will be abju. Two.
All right. Well, tell us about that word.
That word is what we know as abidos or bidos, and it's a toponym.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much what I can say about it.
Okay. So let's do this. Yeah, that's an answer. There's nothing wrong with that, but something to add on to that is the fact that, and you already spoke about this earlier when I think Chris chose the glyph itself, but the glyph contains a biliteral and a phonetic complement, and then another biliteral with a determinative, and so there's 4 glyphs in all. One of the glyphs is not transliterated and is not pronounced, which is the final glyph, which is the determinative. This glyph here. All right. And so we refer to these particular determinatives as toponymic determinatives. And the reason why is because these glyphs come at the end of place names, toponyms, which kind of ties into the whole Kemet wasteful argument that Kemet is a place and therefore it's a place name. And there's no place name on the planet Earth that refer to people. If it did, it wouldn't be called a place name. All place names refer to places, not people. All right. So that's kind of give a little insight on why I keep saying that the argument is very, very wasteful. It's really a very undeveloped, immature, and just silly argument about that word, meaning argue or trying to relate it to the people when no place name does. That's what the word topos onym, which is where we get the word toponym from the Greek. Topos meaning place, onym meaning name. It is a place name, not a people name. Name is a people, it will either be demonyms or ethnonyms. All right, those are different. All right, so I want to kind of get into a sidebar on that.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I also like because at one point in one of the Facebook groups when the name for Kemet with the with the determinative at the end, one of the arguments we had with one of the so-called elders was that he mentioned the fact that that you need linguistics to determine to know about place names. And so so one of the questions that I asked was like, so if he was able to read the Sesh, because if like showing this just by looking at what we have on the screen on a yellow square, you can actually tell it's a that's a toponym, and you tell by the the determinatives that help you determine. But people go so far as to try to, it's like cutting a chicken with a saw. It's trying to use linguistics for some very logical like things that do not need so much like going too far. We just need like your basic logic to just understand that that is a toponym. The elder was like, now you need linguistics, and that you could actually tell that and that's the person who's actually trying to be in the middle of such arguments, and they can't even read the session, don't know anything about something as basic as determinatives, which you learn like in the beginners level. So I found that interesting. The people can't even tell, like a determinative actually tells you, like when you have the 049, you're dealing with a place name in this kind of instances.
All right. I just noticed something though. It's just like a complete sidetrack though. But this rap mummy, look at that detail right there. You can see. I'm not sure if this is the actual body. I'm gonna assume it is, because usually if it was another layer of a coffin, it wouldn't be wrapped this way. But you can see the actual the eye bridge of the skull's bones, I believe here, of how it was when it was wrapped really tight.
Yeah.
Or how that is. I don't know if y'all could pick that up in detail on your screen, but that is very, 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 very intact. I've seen another tomb that was open where the mummy was completely undisturbed, and I'm telling you, the mortuary priests, the people who actually perform these duties, man, they did an excellent job at what they did. These bodies are preserved for thousands of years, and when they have this reveal, this new discovery, and they film it and they show you these bodies are in immaculate. Oh, the work, I should say, the funerary work is immaculate. They didn't cut any corners. I'm telling you. All right, so let's get back to here. So step 3, because like I said, we're supposed to be zooming through and we are taking our time. So step 3 would be to identify patterns of glyphs into the words that they are. And so we're going to fast forward. And unless anybody has something, I thought I heard.
Yeah. No, I was just going to get the next word. I wanted to see if
Okay, what
next
word
word
you
was
want to
next to
identify?
the one you were just on.
What word you want to identify?
It's the D that
Oh,
Chris was
okay.
on earlier. That Chris identified earlier. Is it DF, correct?
Yes. DF.
and correct
Um,
next to it.
well, yeah, it's a little bit more than that though.
Yeah, that's all I know with for now.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's just another word that's added on there, and that's the word. Somebody else help him. Somebody help him out.
Pret Kerul Te Henket.
Okay. They are DF Perecheru. Now, I want to point out. Oh, go ahead. Say it again.
No, the correct Kiru.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to point out that this here, DF, I noticed that when people learn this, and and I see it, when people are first learning at a beginner's level, you're learning this word here, DF, but the way that it comes in and the way people are learning is as if this is two words, DF. And so every now and then we have to remind, and I always try to do this, is that this is one word. DF is one word. That horned viper at the bottom is a suffix pronoun, but it's attached to the word. Suffix pronouns come at the end, or they're affixed to the word, so they can't exist on their own on an island by themselves. So it's definitely part of the word. No different than the S on the word books. Like we never look at that as two words or more than one word. But for some reason, and I understand why, but we have to make sure we be mindful of these things, even when we first come across it as beginners. DF is one word. And when we transliterate it, though, we separate it. Either some scholars will use a dot to separate the suffix, and some scholars will use an equal sign. We use the equal sign to make it visibly distinct in transliteration, but it's actually one word. All right, so I just wanted to make sure everyone understands that. Okay, so let's jump to. Actually, I didn't even move it down. So we have plenty more glyphs here. Let's get to somewhere down here. So let's figure out some words down here. What about this series of glyphs here? What is this? Besides the Catholic nuns.
Inkani.
Okay, Inkani. All right. Okay, Inkani. Now, what usually comes after Inkani? Well, first, what does it mean? Inkani, what does that mean?
Belonging to the ka of, or to, yeah.
Okay.
To the ka of, belonging to the ka of.
All right. So what usually follows that? What should we expect? And pretty much be correct.
Person's name.
Yep. And or. A person's named and or what?
Oh, I don't know if it's cheating, but in this case, that's not that. That's like the start. That's not his or her name right away. That's a.
So what? So, like you said, name. So that's good. But what else can we expect most of the time? The name and or what? Starts with a T or an E. Is the word I'm looking for. All right, and so I'm gonna give the answer. Titles or epithets.
Two.
Okay. So we get the person's name, but then a lot of times we'll gain some titles that they have or epithets. Usually we say epithets that usually deal with deities, and titles for people. Just to kind of clarify that. But so this next word is actually a title or it could be epithet. And actually all of this right here. So and I know this is probably not, yeah, let me do that. Okay. So what does this say? So we're kind of skipping to step 4 a bit. 3 and 4 kind of merge on the freestyle, which is a translate. So let's Egyptologically speak this right now. What is this that I have highlighted? That right there. What do I have highlighted? Anyone?
Imahi.
Yep. What else? I mean, within the whole box.
Imahi sat hatia.
Yep. Okay.
It's hard to see.
Imahi.
Yeah.
Imahi sat hatia. All right. Okay. Now, what do we have here at the end?
Looks like it's Nebhut and Ma'at Cheru. That Ma'at.
All right. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, that looked like a splinter.
Oh yeah,
After-
it definitely does.
After Nebhut. Yeah, it looks like a splinter. But yeah, it's Ma'at Cheru.
Yep. But are you sure it's Mahiru?
Well, I want to say Tiu because I see the word Cheru there. And I see the bread loaf. So
Okay, well, say it again. I'm sorry. Maybe I misheard you.
yeah, Ma'at Cheru.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. I thought you said Mahiru without the T. Okay. Yep. That is it. All right. So Ma'at Keru. So we know that this is a woman whose name is what?
Nebhut.
Yep. Nebet Hut.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
excuse me. Yeah, there's a bread loaf inside the hood, right? Right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Nebet Hut.
Nebet Hut. Neptis. So now this is a question. So that was excellent. But here's a question. This is a coffin that, so let me ask a question. Is this the goddess Neptis body right here?
I knew she was real. I just knew it.
Right. This is the famous Neptis, which is the twin sister of Auset, sister wife of Usir, that we all hear about. You know, who helped her sister Auset, you know, piece the body back together, Usir's body back together, everything like that. Is this her? Are we looking at her right here? Because the coffin said, Nebet Hut Ma'at Keru. Is this her?
Then
Look at this. Look at this. This mummy. Have we finally found a body of a goddess or god, an Egyptian goddess? No, right?
then
I'm just wondering. I'm just asking for a friend. Okay. So I just want to point that out because I've heard people argue about the Netcheru being real or being sentient human beings and all of that. I've seen people argue that. You know, and so I say, so, you know, some of these arguments, when I first hear them, you know, I it's okay to hear people's ideas because these are, you know, these are ideas and everyone should be able to share their idea and everything, but you can't stop there. You should always look for further research and so on and so forth. And when you come across evidence or the lack thereof, you have to adjust your stance. But I've seen people argue those points and have no evidence whatsoever for it. But this is the kind of evidence that would be presented. Excuse me, that would be presented is that they would show things like this. But then you have to point out that, for example, in pretty much all of the books of the dead, the person who the book of the dead is written for is usually referred to as Osiris. So does that mean that that person is the god Osiris? Now, anybody who doesn't know any better would think so. Yes. Oh, we found the tomb of Osiris, when everybody who's dead is an Osiris, even women. Neferet Iri, I always show that image where she's called the Osiris, the royal wife, etc., etc. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of point that out there.
So
But
the question is that like an endearment?
no, this is actually her the person's name. So they named this person after a deity,
No.
just like Ram Mesu or Ramses has the deity Ra in his name, and his name Ra Mesu is Ra gave birth to him. That's what his name means. Jehuti Mes, he who was born of Jehuti.
Yeah.
So so there are plenty of people who are kings, royal wives, female kings, that have deity names in their name. Hatshepsut's name is Ma'at Kara, but she's not Ma'at. Rahotep has Ra in his name, but he's not Ra, etc. Seti, that doesn't mean he's the deity Set. And no different from here, Nebethut. All right. She's the daughter of the mayor, as they say, mayor. We would say mayor today, Hatia, or someone who is elite. But okay, so that's pretty much it. So we have to, like I said, I wanted to fly through this and not really long this out tonight. Just wanted to go through the steps and show a bit of it. And this is the full picture again. Now we can kind of run through it. So it's a offering formula. We have Hotep Dinasu, and I believe June typed a lot of it out in the chat. Hotep Dinasu, Hotep Dinasu. This is what he has. Hotep Dinasu, Wasir Neb Jadu, Netcher A Neb Abju, DF Perek Keru. So we have Hotep Dinasut, Wasir Neb Jadu. Then we have Netcher A Neb, and then we have Abju, DF Perek Keru. And we have Ka Aped Jafau, Sesh Minket. Then we have Netcher, which is incense. We have Mer, incense and oil. Then we have Ket, Nebet, Neferet, Wabet, Netcher, Im. Oh, Anket, Netcher, Im, excuse me. Inkani, Imaki, Sat Hatia, Nebet Hut, Ma'at Keru. And there you have it. All right. So any last things? Because like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm rushing, but want to keep this nice and short. Hope I don't sound like I'm rushing.
The glyphs right before the reed leaf, is that the milk jug, and are those two jars? Ah, okay. That's that Ib? No, that's we got the oils. Is that for milk? Yeah, that. Not Okay. Is that ib? Ib-e? Or that's
No, that's a type of jar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not ib. It's not ib.
There's actually three different types of jars right in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And one is will refer to oil, and the other ones you possibly may be right. This is where something where you have to look up to get to the detail of it.
It's probably milk and something else. Okay.
The milk would probably have that me jug that we see in the word me, Uncle Mira. But this is pretty much a basic offering formula that we should all be familiar with. It's very similar to all the other ones that we see. We don't hardly see Netcher that much. Netcher being incense.
What's in the columns after Imach? Are those just family members' names, or because I see the placenta
Okay, I'll have
after
to
one of
switch
them?
to this picture here. So we would have
Oh, it's the four
Imaki,
sons of Horus.
yeah. So we have
Yeah.
Duamatef,
I'm with Death. It's hard to see that one.
Sat Hatia Nebet Hut. So no, that's not four sons.
Okay.
Sat Hatia Nebet Hut again.
I need to zoom in a bit.
Yeah, that we are.
Yep, and we will do that another time because, like I said, we're gonna cut this. Any last bits? I do want to just make a comment about what the Dasharab was saying before. He said we know. He said, where was it? Yeah, we must know what Kemet meant or is. Studying the language is not like the pyramid conspiracies, right? So, just to be very clear, in case anyone doesn't know, like the reason why we're even here, we focus and emphasize and advocate learning the language. That's like paramount. You know, that's a make it or break it. That's a deal breaker. To understand any culture that you are investigating, you have to do it by way of the language of that particular culture. Now, you can do it without diving into the language, but you have to have the understanding that you're going to be severely handicapped, and which means you're going to be limited on what you can know and things like that. So if you're okay with that, then hey, knock yourself out. But you know, if the language is available, you should learn it as much as you can, because then you can have an intimate relationship with the culture in question. And the reason why is very basic. Language is the DNA of culture. Language is the storage bank for the psychology of the people of said culture. To get to know the culture, to get to know the people, you have to get to know the language. All right. It's like trying to listen to Biggie Smalls without the medium to do so, without the CD, without the tape, or without the MP3 file. You can't really do it. All right. Now you may hear it way in a distance and stuff, but you're gonna be handicapped. So that, I mean, I'm just giving that little analogy, but you have to be able to dive in through the means of understanding a culture or people, the psychology of the people. So that's what we're here for. So that's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying. We must know what Kemet meant or is. Now, I said that we do know what Kemet meant and what Kemet is. We know it. People are arguing over it because they don't know. But it's not something, at this point, it's willful ignorance, you know, because it's something that people can know. It's not rocket science whatsoever. You know, Kemet is a place. It was the name given to the kingdom from the 11th dynasty forward. Prior to the 11th dynasty, the kingdom was not called Kemet. The word existed, of course, or a word existed, but the kingdom itself did not acquire the name Kemet until the 11th dynasty, and is the name of the place, the kingdom. All right. Prior to that, it was known primarily as Tawi or Simatawi, or Tawi for short. Other names, Idebwi, Khenu, and so on. But the most prominent name was Tawi prior to that. All right. And so what the name means, to get to know what the name, what we know what it doesn't mean. what we can start to eliminate, go through a process of elimination. Place names do not refer to people. So the meaning that's conveyed is not a referent to people. It's a referent to place, a place. All right. So that knocks out the argument, the whole noisy argument that people are having. So once that noise is shut out the door, now we can actually look at what it actually is. And Kemet, to kind of fast forward and just give you what it means, Kemet is a place name. The meaning of Kemet is the riparian zone, the riparian area, the riparian country, the kingdom, which is centered around a riparian zone. And if you don't know what a riparian zone is, you can simply look it up and you will find that it is any land, strip of land or area that has access to water. And everyone and their mother calls ancient Egypt the Nile Valley civilization. And everyone also knows that the Nile is the name of the river. So if we're calling the country, the civilization, the river culture, because we say, or river civilization, we say Nile Valley civilization. Let's replace the word Nile with the word river, because the Nile is a river. So we're saying the river valley civilization. It means that it's a civilization that is relying on and living near, and the whole culture and civilization is dependent upon a river, which is water. And so Kemet is a riparian country. And again, riparian simply means a land, a livable, habitable land that has access to water. It is near water. That's it. And that is opposed or diametrically opposed or opposite to the dry area or the dry zones called Desheret, the desert. So we have Desheret and we have Kemet. All right. So that's it. And Desheret, you say, wow, way off. Listen, the link is in the chat. And if you have a different set of evidence to provide, you're more than welcome to provide it anytime we're live. I always put the link here. And I will walk you through everything and anything that you can ever present about this topic. And we can go right into the text itself and break down where this place name is used and how it's used, all the way down to a morphemic analysis. This is the work that we have already done. So for you to say that it's off, fine. But now you're going to have to demonstrate how that is off. And right now I'm going to end the show, but you're more than welcome anytime. All right. So it's, like I said, it's a safe zone. So it's not like, you're not allowed or whatever the case is. If you have something different, by all means, present it. But I guarantee you, you're not gonna have any wins on this on that conversation. All right. So Kemet definitely doesn't mean the land of black people. That's for sure. Especially when you got people for 3,000 years using a reddish brown paint to reflect themselves visually. But yeah, so Kemet is definitely a riparian zone. All right. And I know that word is new to a lot of people. So if you don't like the word riparian, Just use the word that you use all the time, Nile Valley. And even that is partial. This is why I tend see I don't like misnomers. I try my best to always correct things that are wrong when I see them and advocate it. So the Nile Valley civilization, people who call ancient Egypt the Nile Valley civilization, do this. Keep calling it that, but add Delta. So instead of just saying Nile Valley civilization, say Nile Valley and Delta civilization. And here's why, real quick. Because when you say Nile Valley civilization, you are disregarding something that is a staple in the culture itself. The culture and the people always saw their homeland as a duality. This is why you have the word Tawi. That WY on the end of the word Ta is a reflection of duality. It's a masculine dual, Tawi, two lands. And so to say the Nile Valley civilization, you're only referring to one part. There's a delta and a valley. There's a narrow strip, which is the valley, and then it pans out. The closer you get to the Mediterranean Sea, it pans out, and that was a huge area that was densely populated at that. The delta was very important, and that whole delta created a totally different environment. This is why they always saw it as two different regions. The word Ta, people translate it as land or earth, but it also means region. You have Ta Nahisi, Ta Shema'u, Ta Mehu, Ta Mary, Ta Seti. You hear that word Ta? These are regions. And like we do that today. When we say West Africa, that's a region. We say Middle East, that's a region. There's no country called Middle East. There's no country called West Africa, but we have regions that we just give names to. And so the Middle East is a region. And I hear people, joke around with that. Or they be serious. They like, the Middle East, how can you be middle and east at the same time? And, try to all that rhetoric right there. But no, Middle East is simply a name of a region. So Ta Mehu is a region and Ta Shema'u is a region. Those are two regions. And Ta Shema'u would be the valley. Ta Mehu is the delta. So it's the Nile Valley and Delta civilization. So anyway, I just want to make sure everyone understands that. And Kemet is a reflection of the fact that the people live where they had access to water. That's why irrigation and channels are so important to the culture. The entire culture was built and behaved around the river. The river was the lifeline of that entire culture for its entire existence. That's it, period. And I guarantee you, if the Aswan Dam was built in ancient times, those people would not have it. That dam would not exist in ancient times. There's no way possible that a group of people would get away with building that dam, that Nile dam, the Aswan Dam, to disrupt the natural flow and occurrences of the Nile River. There is no way possible that would have occurred in ancient times. All right? Because the entire civilization was dependent upon the behavior of the Nile, the happy Itaru, as it was called. All right? So, Deshrab says, I am a living Nasut. Don't underestimate me. Yes. All right. Just tell me the name of your kingdom. If you are a living Nasut, tell me your kingdom and that you govern. You should be at a head. Today we call them heads of state. So, where's your diplomatic attaché and your council office? And where's your diplomatic relations and all that good stuff? But anyway, so it's 10:35 and we're about to be out of here. So I want to say peace to everyone. Hush Your Mouth is in the building. Salute Champ in the building. Peace. Hotep, everybody on the panel. Got to make this quick goodbye because I always make these long goodbyes and I get teased about that. So I'm going to say Shem Hotep, good to interfere, and I will see y'all tomorrow. We probably go live again tomorrow. have a discussion. Deshrab, I hope you're around tomorrow. You can come bring your stuff. I would love to take a look at it. So I don't want to sound like I'm my default position is dismissive. Bring your information. But all right, so I want to say Shemem Hotep to everyone.
Sure.